Thank you. We'll try and get through you all.
If we keep the answers short, we can do that.
Both speakers, there have been 7 cycles of ordinarily natural global warming cooling since the 1000 AD. Our present warming period corresponds to one of them. Only this one has been attributed to CO2. All the previous warmings, including the medieval warming period, which was much stronger, have been without anthropogenic CO2 emissions. Why in this debate are we ignoring natural climate change cycles and their normal cause, which is the cyclic sunspot activity and the controlling factors that vary the sunspot activity?
That's a very good question. Could we just, perhaps both speakers would like to say something about that?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, Dr. Lambert.
Okay, so first, the last thing you mentioned was sunspot activity. I think that's a really good thing to note. Sunspot activity does have an effect on climate. When there's lots of sunspots, the sun's a bit warmer and that warms things up. When there's less, it's a bit cooler. And the remarkable thing about that, if I can pull up the right graph here, there it is there, is that right now we have the lowest amount of sunspot activity in 100 years. It's the lowest solar minimum since right near the beginning of that graph. So if the sun was as important as you seem to think, we should be back to temperatures of 1900, and we're not. We're at record levels. Last month, January 2010, according to the satellite record, was the warmest January ever recorded in the satellite record. It hasn't dropped down. It's still quite warm.
Lord Monckton.
You're wrong.
Right. Now, the facts are these. Let's once again go back rather a long way. Let's go back, say, 600 million years to the beginning of the Cambrian era. Then from then until now, most of the time, the temperature has been perhaps up to 7 Celsius degrees warmer than the present, most of the time. Let's take each of the previous 4 interglacial warm periods that have occurred every 125,000 years. Each of those periods was up to 6 Celsius degrees warmer than the present. Not a single SUV, not a single power station anywhere. Let's now come forward to the Holocene. That's the current interglacial warm period, which began more or less 11,400 years ago at the end of the Younger Dryas cooling event. The Holocene climate optimum, as it's called, and it's called optimum because warmer is better than colder, occurred 6,000 years ago approximately, and temperatures were substantially higher than they are today. They were warmer again in the Minoan warm period. They were warmer again for 600 years in the Roman warm period. And according to papers by at least 787 scientists from 468 institutions in 42 countries over the last 25 years, of which, on notice, I can provide a list, the medieval warm period was also substantially warmer than the present worldwide. So, sir, your point is an entirely valid one. I thank you for that question. Clearly, if these natural warmings that have happened so frequently in the past have happened so frequently as they have and to the magnitude that they have, then today's warming is not prima facie anything to worry about whatsoever. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And we'll take the lady on my far left, over here in the red. Yes, in the red. Thank you. Now, the lady in the red. Lady in red.